All right, it's time to take a break and talk about some daily fantasy football with our good friend Chris Meany of the Fantasy Sports Network.
The Daily Dose.
The fantasy footballers are joined once again by our bestest friend from the Great White North, Chris Meany from the Fantasy Sports Network. He's here to talk some DFS strategies. How are you doing this fine day?
I feel the same about you guys. You guys are my besties as well.
That's awesome.
Someday we'll be able to hug with real arms and not
Yes.
just digital arms.
Is that what this is?
You guys up here. We're hoping to get you guys up here in the Fantasy Sports Network studios, hopefully pretty soon.
Oh, we would love it. We'll do a show up there.
Sure, wait for it to get nice and cold up there. Wait for it to get nice and chilly.
It's just getting nice where we live.
You realize we do not own jackets.
Yeah, that's the thing. We'll wait till it's like minus 25 and snowing, and we'll make sure you guys get up here.
When they're giving plane tickets away.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's get into the daily talk. So let's start at the top of the board. The big budget guys, the big budget quarterbacks. Are you buying a Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers? What are you doing this week, Chris?
I'm certainly going to have Tom Brady in one of my lineups. I mean, this guy is I feel like he's just going to crush Washington this weekend. So I'm going to have Tom Brady. Obviously, you're going to have to get some values in there if you're going to do Tom Brady. Last week I was off Freeman, and it wasn't really a Freeman week, but he was actually okay. He just got a couple fumbles and didn't find the end zone, and I think that might be his floor. I mean, the whole at least 10 double-digit points without getting the touchdown. So I think I'm back on Freeman 8-9 against San Francisco. I'm certainly going to have to pay for Tom Brady, though. At $9,500, it's a lot of money, but I do like him. And then, again, I mean, you're kind of silly if you don't go Odell Beckham Jr. again in at least one of your lineups. It's a nice matchup, the Giants against Tampa Bay. We saw last week, wow, Pittsburgh, or not. I was big on Pittsburgh-Cincy. I thought that would be a high-scoring game, but it was the Saints and the Giants. So, I'd like to pay for Odell Beckham Jr., and Antonio Brown still at 8-7 seems like a steal. Those are the top guys that I'd be willing to pay for.
Okay, let's get into the middle tier guys and guys who we're used to performing. Like, let's say an Eddie Lacy. What are your thoughts on a guy like him in a tougher matchup?
Yeah, I have to see it. I have to see it from Eddie Lacy. I mean, I just haven't seen it yet. He's averaging 8 FanDuel points per game. It's not great. It's not somebody that I trust. Certainly not in a 50-50 or a cash game. In a tournament play, it could be okay. But again, I really have to see it from these guys first. I'd rather play McFadden 6-5 against Philadelphia. I'd rather play Langford 6-4 against San Diego. San Diego struggled against the run. I don't think Langford's all that great, but you expect him to get about 20 touches. Again, with New England, I think it's going to be a blunt game. 6-4 is okay, but again, you just don't know with blunt. And Andrews is supposed to be the guy for Tennessee now. I don't have much stock and faith in him either. I just feel like they're going to be down in this game. They're going to have troubles running the ball. But, I mean, D'Angelo Williams at 6'5", it seems like a steal. I know you guys are big on him, too, because I got a couple of questions about D'Angelo Williams and somebody else.
6'5"
D'Angelo Williams. And
6'5" is amazing.
Yeah, 6'5" is a steal. It's unbelievable, yeah. And I think, at the first 2 games of the year without Le'Veon Bell, he was great. And he still had 100 yards last week. I mean, and he didn't play the full game. So I do like D'Angelo Williams at 6'5". I think it's a steal. I'm going big on Oakland this week. I just love the Raiders. I like Derek Carr. I keep talking about Crabtree at 5'8". His price has not changed. He's still 5'8", $5,800. 2 touchdowns last 2 games. He's got at least 50 yards in 4 straight games. He's got 8 targets in every single game but 1 where he got the ankle injury and he was bummed out a little bit. So I love Carr. I love Crabtree. I just think that people should continue to roll these guys, and even Amari Cooper is nice as well at 7'3".
D'Angelo Williams for DFS reminds me greatly of last year, and it was pretty close to about this time when Giovanni Bernard went down and Jeremy Hill arrived on the scene, over. And he was just the DFS monster for mega cheap for weeks before his price eventually went up. All right, let's talk some value, guys. The bums at the bottom. Nobody wants this trash except the sifter of the trash who finds the diamonds in the rough. Chris Meany, who do we got at the bottom this week, my man?
Well, this is the bottom of the bottom. It's Justin Hardy. If Hankerson doesn't play, I actually think Hardy could be okay. Listen, They threw the ball 45 times, Ryan, and Roddy White only had 3 targets. So that's the bottom of the barrel that I would go with Justin Hardy. There's a couple other guys I like more than him. Malcolm Floyd I like a lot against Chicago 6-1. I like Brendan LaFell. Again, I think that the Patriots are going to be able to have their way with Washington. So if you want to get a piece of that offense, 5-2 is fairly cheap for Brendan LaFell. And I know we didn't touch on Breeze at all, and I know a lot of people may be on him because of that big week, but he has an amazing schedule coming up, and I think people should take notice of that. You got Tennessee, Washington, Houston, then Carolina, Tampa, Detroit, Jacksonville, Atlanta to finish. His favorite target seems to be Watson. Ben Watson has 27 targets, 23 catches, over 300 yards, and 2 scores over the last 3 weeks. It seems pretty good. We also had Jeremy Hill. I certainly thought, or not Jeremy, Josh Hill was going to be the guy, the sleeper guy, but it seems like Watson is taking everything that Jimmy Graham had last year.
And so a defense. Let's talk defenses this time. Who do you like this week that we can get a little bit cheaper?
Yeah, defense. It's funny. I always kind of say I'm going to get the cheapest defense, but the past couple of weeks of the guys have been winning the millionaire. They had 20 points from their defense and 20 from their kicker. I like the Eagles' defense. I think that they make things happen. They're averaging 10 FanDuel points per game, which out of all the other defenses going this week, there's only 3 of them that average double-digit points. And you got, obviously, the Broncos up at the top, and then you got the Rams in there. Philadelphia against Dallas, a team that is obviously having issues getting touchdowns. Castle does not look good at all. So I like that defense to make things happen, get a couple picks. They're opportunistic. They do get some picks as much as, a lot of people like to pick on that secondary. They kind of get things happen that way. So the other defense is Carolina that's averaging 10 points, and I'm not playing them against Aaron Rodgers, who could only get 70 yards last week. I got 2 defenses here if you want some. Pat Mayo joining me right now.
Yeah, what up, Mayo?
What's happening, guys?
How are you doing?
You guys are overlooking the awesome defenses of the AFC East. The Bills and that pass rush against the Dolphins, that's not fine to the Dolphins being back. The Bills are going to be fine. And the Jets against Jacksonville. Come on now. Jacksonville bleeds points to defenses. No one's taking these 2. They're great defenses.
How do you not bring up Atlanta?
No, that's a trap.
No,
That's a trap.
That's a trap. Blaine Gabbert's going to be okay?
Yeah, he'll be
What?
fine.
Blaine
Where are the
Gabbert.
points coming from?
We need to do a water bet with you, Mayo, and we'll throw the ice on you when we get out there.
Oh, that's not going to hurt. Like ice on ice is not a problem. So a sneak appearance by Pat Mayo, guerrilla warfare fantasy advice. We love it. So thanks, guys. Thank you so much. We'll check in with you next week.
All right, guys. Good luck this weekend.
All right, more good stuff from Chris Meany and the special guest Pat Mayo dropping in. We got to get him on the show again.
Yeah, we do.
Because he's like a espresso to the show. He just livens it up.
I was going to go with a more narcotic-like substance.
Yeah, let's
for
make
Pat
sure.
Mayo.
Yeah, we'll make sure to tweet that out to him. Let him know what we think.